So recently I came to this little realization. I think it's because I was in a sling for the last week and had some time to think, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But growing up, I realized that we kind of just went along for the ride. Like things were done for us and we were there, right? Things were planned for us. For example, birthday celebrations, festivities, events. We would go to school and there was a routine. There was a certain set of people we would see almost every week. There were clubs, events, assemblies, field trips, sports. Maybe your parents put you in swimming lessons or, you learned an instrument. But when you're an adult, you realize very quickly that that's not the case. And at a certain point, you're at a crossroad where you have to make a decision whether you want life to happen and you react to it, or you take control of your life and become the pilot of your destiny. And it has me thinking a lot about how much of my early 20s I sort of wasted, whether it was smoking weed, drinking alcohol, playing video games, and wasting away at my chair. Um, I sort of just like went with the flow, like if people invited me places I went, but I never was the one who planned things. And even filmmaking sort of took me on a little bit of a journey, but it was really like events planned and I kind of just like went with the flow. Things happened and I went with the flow. I never was the person being like, okay, I want this in my life. I want to do these things to help better my life and, change the trajectory. And that had me really thinking about, how much time I really wasted doing these things and how much fond memories I had growing up. Birthdays were a really big thing. Not because it was just me and my friends. My parents were the ones, the facilitators of this. They would invite everyone. It was like family, friends, coworkers, family, even the neighborhood, like the whole street they would invite, and it was just like an excuse to get the most amount of people in our backyard to enjoy each other's company, have good food, drink, music, and have a good time. And I realized that like maybe it's the same for you, that maybe your families have sort of like grown apart and haven't done that as much. And I think it's because we're the ones that have to facilitate that now. And yeah, I don't know. I bring it up because I want to say don't make the same mistakes I made. You got to be proactive and do the things you want to do in your life and make a change, take control of your life because you'll soon realize that like time continues to go by regardless of whether you do anything about it. And that should leak into any facet of your life, whether it's a job that you don't like. Maybe you've been working there for a little while and you want to pursue a passion or something, but you don't know where to start or you don't have everything figured out. And that's perfect. That's literally perfect because not everyone has everything figured out. People just like learn on the fly. And even when it comes to filmmaking photography, the people you see on film sets or online, they don't even know what they're doing. Trust me, when they first started, they didn't know what they were doing, but they were willing to have that tenacity to learn on the fly and take the risk. And that's a very attractive quality. People love to be around that type of energy. And that's why you see sometimes that someone may not have as much talent, but they have that drive to learn and put themselves in those situations to excel. And maybe it's even in a relationship. If you're in a toxic relationship and you feel like you've been there, maybe it's a 5-year relationship and you don't want to like end it off because you feel like you just would have wasted 5 years of your life. You got to think about your future. If this is someone you're not seeing yourself with in the long term, you don't see like something that you can build with the person, you're just really putting a detriment on your own life. You're going to live a life of regret, and it's really up to you to make those decisions. And even sometimes like friendships, man, like I call them vampires, but there's people who literally are there to suck your energy. Like they, whether they're a negative people or they're not there, they don't want to build, they don't see the vision you might have. It's it's truly up to you. Make a change in your life before you look back and realize like, man, I wasted so much time. And it's that fear of the unknown that you have to embrace, because behind that door of uncertainty is an endless realm of possibilities and outcomes. And that doesn't mean that, like, oh, you start doing something or you make a change and everything goes well. Like, you're gonna fall, you're gonna stumble, but you're gonna get back up. And they say that fortune favors the brave. And the truth is, God's looking down, God sees you trying and is like, I'm going to give him a helping hand. He took that step. He has the motion, the waves. He's making movements to try and do something. I'm going to help. And I mean, if you sit down all day, and I'm speaking from experience, you're just sitting, praying to God, being like, I need a change in my life. It's really up to you to take that first step. It's like a pebble, a drop of water in the ocean that ripples. And it's true what they say, faith without works is death, is meaningless. I'm not gonna lie, the last week has probably been one of the worst weeks of my life. I dislocated my shoulder playing soccer. I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't have it any other way, because I would rather have that than redundancy and complacency and being stuck in the same place. I would have never thought I would be playing soccer in my late 20s. I thought it was impossible. I thought my prime was 17, 18, my early 20s. I thought everything was going to go downhill from there. But I took a chance. I was like, I'm going to sign up, play competitively. And I didn't think I could play for 80 and 90 minutes, but I focused on what I was eating. I was disciplined and consistent with my training and working out and getting in form. And I kid you not, I feel the best I've ever felt in any other period of my life. And I don't feel like I'm in my prime. And that goes beyond physically, like in any other part of my life. I don't feel like I've hit my prime. And that feeling is a beautiful, beautiful feeling. Like, I cannot describe it. And even recently, a couple weeks ago, I went on a date. Okay. I did the whole thing, bought flowers, picked her up, and going into it, I never really cared about the outcome. I wasn't really thinking about what to gain from it, if this is gonna be anything. The truth is, I wanted to go just for the experience of itself. And in the end, I knew the idea that if it's meant for me, it'll be, right? And I translate that to every part of my life now. And I wanted to share this message because hopefully someone out there can relate, make that change in their life, take control, because there's no better time than now. You don't want to look back on life and have regrets. You really want to be the one in control, changing things, making the most of it. I hope you could take something from this. Get out there, make a change, talk to new people, try something new. Man, like, everything is up to you. And yeah, thank you for stopping by. I hope you took something from this. My name is JR Ali, and I'll see you in another video. Peace and love.